I never thought a weekend of music and freedom could spiral into a fight for my life. My best friend, Carla, the one person I'd trusted through thick and thin, did something at Coachella that left me reeling. A betrayal so shocking it still haunts me. But what happened next? Well, that's a story you won't believe. It's raw, it's messy, and it's mine. Stick around, because this tale of danger and redemption is one you won't want to miss. I can still hear Carla's voice from that night on my porch, the air thick with summer heat and the faint buzz of cicadas. We were sipping wine, the kind that's too cheap to be good but too familiar to care. She leaned forward, her eyes glinting with that reckless spark I'd adored since we were kids. "Let's go to Coachella," she said, like it was as simple as grabbing coffee. I nearly snorted my drink. Coachella? Us. What are we gonna do? Trade bingo nights for flower crowns? She grinned, undeterred. It's not about age, Jane. It's about feeling alive. We've earned this. She had me there. Life had gotten quiet, steady, sure, but maybe a little too still. Coachella 2025 became our pact, a wild escape to chase the music and madness we'd missed out on. Lady Gaga was headlining, Green Day too, legends we'd grown up with, now remixed for a new crowd. It felt like fate. Carla took the reins, as she always did. She found us a quirky hotel just outside Indio. Think retro vibes, a tiny pool, and a view of mountains that glowed pink at dawn. She even planned our outfits, flowy dresses, wide hats, and yes, those flower crowns I'd teased her about. I rolled my eyes at her spreadsheets, but secretly, I was thrilled. It had been forever since we'd done something reckless together. The night before we left, she showed up at my door with a small velvet box. "Open it," she urged, her voice soft. Inside was a gold locket, simple and elegant. I clicked it open. There we were, a grainy photo from decades ago, arms around each other, laughing like the world couldn't touch us. "For luck," she said. "Keep it close." I hugged her so tight, I nearly knocked her over. "You're ridiculous." "I love it." The drive to India was pure joy. We cranked the radio, belting out songs we hadn't sung in years, laughing over the time we tried sneaking into a show and got caught by a security guard who looked half asleep. By the time we rolled onto the festival grounds, I was buzzing, the desert sun blazing down like a spotlight. Coachella hit us like a wave. The air thrummed with bass, the crowd a sea of glitter and neon. People danced in outfits that defied gravity, feathers, sequins, boots caked in dust. Food stalls pumped out smells of tacos and sweet churros, and art installations loomed like giants against the sky. We checked into our hotel, tossed on our dresses, and dove in. That first night, we were unstoppable. We danced until my feet ached, laughed until my sides hurt, snapped photos so bad they'd never see the light of day. Carla dragged me to a stage where some DJ spun beats that rattled my bones. For a while, it was perfect, us against the world like always. Then she disappeared. One minute, she was swaying beside me, her flower crown lopsided. The next, she was gone. I spun around, scanning the crowd, nothing but strangers in a haze of lights. She'd probably ducked off for a drink or to dodge the porta-potty line. I waited, tapping my foot to the rhythm, but minutes dragged on. I pulled out my phone. Her line went straight to voicemail. "Carla, where'd you run off to?" I muttered, shoving it back in my bag. That's when I saw her, way across the field, near a cluster of palm trees. She was talking to some guy in a black jacket, his posture too rigid for this free-for-all vibe. She handed him something, small, quick, like she didn't want anyone to notice. He nodded and slipped into the crowd. When she jogged back, I pounced. "Who was that?" "Oh, just an old friend," she said, flashing a grin that didn't quite land. "An old friend." I crossed my arms. "Here." She shrugged. "Coincidence. Let's grab a drink." I let it go. We were here to have fun, not play detective. But something nagged at me. The next day, she acted normal, too normal. We wandered the festival, gorged on overpriced tacos, watched a band that sounded like pure nostalgia. She cracked jokes, posed for my shaky selfies, but her eyes kept darting to her phone. She'd type something, then tuck it away when I got close. During a break by the Ferris wheel, I couldn't hold it in. "Carla, what's up? You're twitchy as a cat in a rainstorm." She sighed, rubbing her forehead. "It's nothing. Work stuff." "At Coachella?" I raised a brow. She laughed, but it was thin. "Can we just enjoy this? Please?" "Fine," I said, but my stomach twisted. "Oh, and hey, quick break here. Thanks for listening, everyone. This channel's growing faster than I can believe, and it's all because of you amazing people out there. If you're enjoying this story, hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel. It'd mean everything." Okay, back to it. That night, in our hotel room, I lay awake, staring at the cracked ceiling. "Just an old friend," she'd said. "Friends don't make you flinch like that." I fingered the locket around my neck, its weight suddenly heavy. Tomorrow I'd get answers. I had to. I drifted off, the festival's distant hum in my ears. Hours later, I jolted awake. Pitch dark, no Carla. Her bed was empty, sheets tossed aside. Her phone sat on the nightstand, buzzing once before going silent. I grabbed it. The screen lit up with a single text. "Meet me. Now. Alone." I stared at Carla's phone, the screen glowing in the dim hotel room. "Meet me. Now. Alone." My pulse raced. Who was texting her? And why had she left her phone behind? I didn't have time to overthink it. I threw on my sneakers, snatched her phone, and rushed out the door. The hotel hallway was dead quiet, wrapped in that creepy stillness that only hits at 3 a.m. I checked the lobby. Empty, except for the night clerk snoring at the desk. Stepping outside, the desert air stung my skin through my thin t-shirt. I scanned the parking lot, then the pool area. No Carla. Nothing but shadows and silence. Panic started to choke me. This wasn't like her. She didn't just disappear. I considered calling the cops, but what would I even say? My friend got a weird text and vanished. They'd probably tell me to wait it out. Then I remembered the guy in the black jacket from earlier. An old friend, she'd called him, brushing it off. Yeah, right. I unlocked her phone, lucky for me, no passcode, and scrolled to her messages. The latest one was from an unknown number. "Meet me. Now. Alone. By the old stage." The old stage? I'd seen it on the festival map, a rundown spot on the far edge of the grounds. It was a trek, but I had to check it out. I ran back to the room, grabbed a hoodie, stuffed Carla's phone in my pocket, and took off. The festival grounds were a ghost town at this hour. The pulsing crowds and neon lights from earlier were gone, replaced by a maze of shadows and shredded posters flapping in the breeze. My footsteps crunched on gravel as I hurried toward the old stage. The air smelled like dust and stale smoke from the day's shows. Every little noise, a far-off laugh, a tarp rustling, made my heart jump. When I got there, the old stage stood like a relic, rusted scaffolding towering overhead, a torn banner swaying lazily. "Carla," I called out. My voice bounced back, weak and shaky. Then I saw it, a flash of gold in the dirt. My stomach plummeted. It was Carla's locket, a twin to the one she'd given me years ago. I dropped to my knees to grab it, my hands trembling. As I did, a shadow shifted behind me. I whipped around. A man emerged from behind a stack of crates, tall, broad, his face hidden under a hood. "You shouldn't be here," he said, his voice deep and gravelly. I stumbled backward. "Where's Carla?" "She's not your concern anymore." "What do you mean? Who are you?" He stepped closer, and I caught the gleam of a knife in his hand. My blood froze. "Leave now, and you won't get hurt." I wanted to bolt, but my legs felt like lead. "I'm not leaving without her." He lunged. I dodged by a hair, sprinting toward the stage. My foot snagged on a cable, and I hit the ground hard, pain exploding in my knee. He was on me in an instant, the knife glinting above me. Desperate, I grabbed a loose plank from the stage floor and swung it with everything I had. It smashed into his arm, and he grunted, the knife clattering away. I scrambled up and ran, not daring to look back. I didn't stop until I reached the hotel, lungs burning, hands scraped raw, me screaming. I locked the door behind me and collapsed, gasping. Carla was in deep trouble, and now I was too. Her phone buzzed in my pocket. Another text. You were warned. I flung the phone across the room, my breathing jagged. What had Carla gotten mixed up in? Why hadn't she told me? The next morning, I jolted awake to pounding on the door. Jane? Jane? Open up. It was Mark, Carla's husband. I'd called him in a frenzy after the attack, spilling everything about the texts and the knife. He'd driven all night to get here. I let him in and he pulled me into a quick, tight hug. Are you okay? What happened? I spilled it all. The creepy guy, the messages, the near stabbing. His face darkened with every detail. We need to call the police, he said, reaching for his phone. But before he could, Carla's phone rang. I hesitated, then picked it up and answered. A distorted voice rasped through. If you want to see your friend again, bring the locket to the festival grounds at noon. Alone. The call cut off. Mark stared at me. What did they say? I swallowed hard. They've got Carla. They want the locket. He grabbed my arm. We're not doing this alone. It's too risky. No, I said, shaking my head. They said alone. If I don't follow their rules, they might hurt her.
His jaw tightened. Fine.
But I'm coming with you. I'll hang back, out of sight. I nodded, relieved. It wasn't much of a plan, but it was something. At noon, I stood near the main stage, the locket gripped tight in my hand. The festival was alive again. Music thumping, people dancing, oblivious to the nightmare I was living. A woman approached me, mid-30s, sharp-eyed, dressed head to toe in black. You have it, she asked. I held up the locket. Where's Carla? She smirked. Safe.
For now.
Give it to me. Not until I see her. She sighed, then jerked her head toward a nearby tent. She's in there. I hesitated. It screamed trap, but what choice did I have? I stepped inside, and there she was. Carla, tied to a chair, gagged, her eyes huge with terror. Carla, I rushed toward her, but the woman yanked my arm back. The locket first. I shoved it into her hand. She examined it, then nodded. Good. Now get out. Not without her. I snapped, pulling free. Her smirk vanished. You don't call the shots here. The tent flap flew open, and Mark barreled in, slamming the woman to the ground.
Go, he yelled.
Get Carla out. I fumbled with the ropes, freeing Carla as fast as I could. She tore off the gag, gasping. Jane, I'm so sorry. Later, I said, hauling her up. We've got to move. We stumbled out of the tent. Mark right behind us, the woman out cold on the floor. We pushed through the crowd, not stopping until we were safe in the hotel room. Carla sank onto the bed, sobbing. I didn't want this. I thought I could fix it. Fix what? I demanded. What's going on? She looked up, tears streaming. I'm not who you think I am, Jane. I've been lying to you for years. My stomach lurched. What are you talking about? She took a shaky breath. I used to work for the government. Undercover. The locket, it's not just jewelry. It's a key to something dangerous. And now they're after me. I stared at her, the room tilting. My best friend, a spy? It sounded ridiculous, but the fear in her eyes was real. They won't stop, she whispered. Not until they get what they want. Mark stepped forward, his expression hard. Then we stopped them, together. I nodded, my mind reeling. This was insane, but Carla was family. I'd do anything to protect her. But deep down, I knew. The worst was still coming. The hotel room felt like a pressure cooker, the air heavy with unspoken questions. Carla sat on the edge of the bed, her fingers fidgeting with the locket that had turned our Coachella weekend into a nightmare. Mark paced near the window, his broad shoulders tense, while I slumped against the wall, my mind spinning. My best friend of 30 years, an ex-spy? It was the kind of twist I'd laugh at in a book club pic, but here we were living it. Start talking, I said, my voice sharper than intended. What's this locket really about? Carla exhaled, her eyes darting to the floor. It's a key to a safety deposit box. Inside, there's evidence, stuff I gathered years ago that could bring down some seriously dangerous people. Mark stopped pacing, his brow furrowing. What kind of evidence? Documents, audio recordings, proof of a corruption ring. Politicians, corporate bigwigs, the works. I thought I'd left that life behind, but they tracked me down. I stared at her, betrayal twisting in my gut. And you didn't tell me? Carla, we've shared everything, divorces, kids, that awful perm phase in the 90s. Why keep this from me? I was protecting you, she said, her voice cracking. The less you knew, the safer you'd be. Oh, stellar job there. I shot back, rubbing my knee where a bruise bloomed from last night's chaos. Mark cut in, ever the voice of reason. We need to get that evidence. If it's as big as you say, it's our leverage. Carla nodded. The box is in a bank in Palm Springs. We can go tomorrow. Tomorrow? I scoffed. They're hunting us now. We can't just twiddle our thumbs. They won't strike in daylight, Mark said calmly. We're safe for regrouping and planning. I wanted to argue, but his steady gaze shut me up. He was right. Rushing in blind was how you ended up on the evening news. Sleep was a lost cause that night. I stared at the ceiling, the AC's hum blending with Carla's restless tossing. Around 2 a.m., her voice broke the silence. Jane? You awake? Yeah, I murmured. I'm sorry. For all of it. I rolled over, barely making out her face in the dark. I get it, but it hurts, you know? Finding out my best friend's been living a double life. It wasn't about trust, she whispered. It was about keeping you out of this mess. You're my family. My chest tightened. You're mine too. That's why I'm here, banged up knee and all. She reached across the gap between our beds, her hand finding mine. Thank you. For a second, the danger faded, and it was just us. Remember that rooftop party we crashed in college? Asked, a grin sneaking out. Carla chuckled. With that mustached guy chasing us off. We were so sure we'd get away with it. Terrible spies, both of us, I said, laughing softly. Still are, she added, and we muffled our giggles like kids, the weight lifting just enough to breathe. But tomorrow loomed, and with it, whatever waited in that bank. Morning brought us to Palm Springs, the desert sprawling endlessly outside Mark's rental car. The bank was all glass and steel, a stark contrast to the kitschy motels nearby. We strolled in, aiming for casual, but my pulse thundered like a drumline. Carla flashed a tight smile at the teller. I need to access my safety deposit box. Minutes later, we were in a private room. Carla slid the locket into a slot on the box, and it clicked open. Inside, a USB drive and a stack of photos. Mark frowned. That's it. It's enough, Carla said, pocketing the drive. The photos tie key players to the crimes. The drive's got the rest, recordings, files, everything. We turned to leave, but the door swung open. A man in a crisp suit blocked the way, 2 hulking goons behind him. Hand it over, he said, his tone icy. Carla stiffened. No chance. He smirked. I wasn't asking. Mark stepped forward, but a goon shoved him back. Stay out of it. My brain scrambled for an out. Then I spotted the fire alarm on the wall. Risky, but it might work. I edged closer, playing scared. Please don't hurt us, I whimpered, my hand inching toward the lever. The suit barely glanced at me. Give me the drive and you walk. I yanked the alarm. A blaring screech filled the room, sprinklers drenching us all. People screamed, slipping in the chaos. I grabbed Carla. Go. We bolted past the soaked goons, Mark on our heels, and didn't stop until we hit the car, breathless and dripping. Carla laughed, a manic edge to it. Jane, you're a genius. I grinned, adrenaline buzzing. I have my moments. But our triumph faded fast. On the highway, a black SUV loomed in the rear view. Mark gripped the wheel. They're on us. Floor it, Carla said. He did, dodging traffic, but the SUV stuck like glue. We were in deep. We ditched the car at a mall, hoping the crowd would swallow us. Split up, Mark whispered. Food court, 10 minutes. Carla and I veered into a department store, pretending to shop. My heart jackhammered as I scanned for threats. Then Carla grabbed my arm. Jane, look. Outside the window, the suit prowled the crowd. He hadn't seen us yet. Move, I hissed. We darted through the store, slipping into a dim service hall. We hit the exit and ran smack into a goon. He seized Carla's wrist. End of the line. Instinct took over. I swung my purse, the heavy clasp cracking his temple. He stumbled and Carla broke free. We sprinted to the lot, where Mark waited, engine roaring. We piled in, tires squealing as the goons staggered after us. The SUV gave chase, but Mark lost them in a tangle of side streets. We didn't stop until we hit a quiet diner, collapsing into a booth, rattled but alive. Carla pulled out the drive. Running's not enough. We need to get this to someone who can use it. Mark nodded. I've got a reporter friend. He's solid. He'll blow this wide open.
How?
I asked. They're everywhere. Carla's eyes sparked. The festival. It's chaos. Perfect cover. We make the handoff there. Risky, but doable. Back to Coachella it was. Night fell, and we slipped into the festival, the music pounding, lights strobing. We pushed toward the main stage, where Mark's reporter waited. But then I saw him, the suit, scanning the crowd. He's here, I breathed. Carla paled. Hurry. We shoved through the masses, the bass vibrating in our bones. We reached the reporter, and Carla pressed the drive into his hand. Go. Before he could vanish, a hand clamped my shoulder. The suit. You're done. Mark lunged, but goons blocked him. Carla yelled, Run, as the reporter slipped away. The suit's grip tightened. You think that saves you? I glared. The truth's out. You're toast. He sneered. Not yet. Then a security guard tackled him, chaos exploding, guards swarming, the suit and his crew pinned. Mark yanked us back, and we melted into the crowd, hearts racing. At the hotel, we locked the door, breathless. Carla sank down, tears streaming. It's over. I hugged her tight. We did it. But as relief settled in, a chill crept up my spine. The truth was out, but what came next? The hotel room felt claustrophobic, the silence heavy and oppressive, like the calm after a tempest. Carla perched on the edge of the bed, her hands shaking as she stared at the carpet. Mark stood against the wall, arms crossed, his jaw clenched tight. I paced back and forth, my thoughts a chaotic swirl. We turned over the evidence, photos, recordings, documents exposing a sprawling corruption ring, but the dread still clung to us, thick and unyielding. It's not over yet, is it? I said, my voice slicing through the stillness. Carla lifted her head, her eyes puffy and red.
No.
They won't stop until they're sure we can't hurt them. Mark gave a curt nod. We need to vanish for a bit. Lay low until the story hits the press. Vanish. I stopped mid-step. To where? I've got a cabin in Big Bear, Mark said. It's off the grid. We can hole up there until the dust settles. Carla's shoulders slumped. Jane, I'm so sorry. I never meant to pull you into this mess. I sat beside her, resting a hand on her arm. Stop it. We're in this together. Always have been. She forced a faint smile. Even when I'm a total train wreck? Especially then, I said, nudging her playfully. Who else would I want as my co-star in this ridiculous spy movie? Her laugh was shaky but genuine. You're nuts. Proudly, I shot back, and for a fleeting moment, the tension loosened its grip. But reality wasn't done with us. We had to move now. We packed light, abandoning most of our Coachella leftovers, glitter-dusted hats and sunscreen-stained bags. The drive to Big Bear was hushed, the flat desert stretching into rolling hills and dense pine forests. The cabin sat nestled in a quiet corner, a weathered wooden retreat overlooking the lake. It was a world apart, but the threat still shadowed us. Mark got a fire going inside, the logs snapping and popping. We gathered around it, but the warmth couldn't touch the cold knot in my chest. Carla gazed into the flames, lost in her own head. I had a million questions about her secrets, her past, but I swallowed them. Not yet. Instead, I spotted a dusty deck of cards on a shelf. Gin rummy, anyone? I need something to keep my brain from imploding. Mark arched a brow. You think that's wise? Better than sitting here losing my mind, I said, shuffling the cards with a flourish. Carla cracked a small grin. Deal me in. We played for hours, the game a fragile bubble of normalcy. Mark's poker face was laughably bad, and Carla's ruthless streak had us cackling. It wasn't much, but it was enough to dull the edge of panic, until a sharp knock rattled the door. We went still. Mark signaled us to stay put and edged to the window. His face turned to stone. It's them. My stomach dropped. How'd they find us? No time for that, he said, snatching a poker from the fireplace. We're leaving.
Now.
Carla's eyes widened. There's a back trail to the main road. Another knock, harder, came with a bark demand. Open the door, or we're coming in. Mark nodded.
Go.
I'll buy you time. No chance, I snapped. We're not ditching you. Jane, he said, his tone sharp. Get Carla out. I'll catch up. Carla yanked my hand, pulling me to the back door. He's right. Come on. We bolted into the night, the icy air stinging our faces. The trail was a tangled mess of roots and branches, clawing at us as we ran. Shouts erupted behind us, followed by a crash, the front door giving way. Faster. Carla gasped, her breath uneven. We stumbled through the dark, moonlight our only guide. My chest ached, legs screaming, but stopping wasn't an option. Then a gunshot cracked through the silence, and I froze, terror seizing me. Mark, I breathed. Carla's fingers dug into my arm.
He's fine.
He has to be. We hit the main road, breathless, and waved down a pickup truck. The driver, an older man with a grizzled beard, squinted at us. You two in trouble? Please, I panted. We need the police. He grunted, and we piled in, the truck roaring toward town. I kept looking back, praying for a glimpse of Mark, but the road stayed empty. At the station, we poured out the whole story, the corruption, the chase, the cabin ambush. The officer's skepticism morphed into grim focus. We'll send a team up there, he said. Wait here. We sat in the lobby, clutching bitter coffee in flimsy cups. Carla's leg jittered nonstop. What if they got him? They didn't, I said, clinging to the words. Mark's a fighter. He'll make it. Time crawled. Then the door banged open, and Mark staggered in, arm wrapped in a makeshift bandage. I leapt up, relief crashing over me. You're alive. Barely, he said, grimacing. Took a graze, but I shook them in the woods. Carla hugged him fiercely. Thank God. The officer returned. We found shell casings and tracks at the cabin. This is real. We're on it. Hope flickered. Fragile, but there. By morning, the news exploded. Headlines blared about the corruption ring, arrests looming, big names exposed. Carla's evidence had struck gold. We watched from a diner, the scent of pancakes mingling with the surreal weight of victory. It's over, Carla said, voice trembling with awe. Not quite, Mark countered. They'll still want a silence. He was right. We weren't safe yet. Later, we met a reporter in a bustling cafe. Public spots were our shield. He handed us a USB drive. Backups of everything. Stay careful. Carla pocketed it, her hands steady now. Thanks. Outside, I spotted a black SUV lurking across the street. My gut twisted. They're still here. Mark's jaw set. Let's go. We darted through alleys, losing them in the maze. Back at the hotel, we shoved furniture against the door, adrenaline spiking. We can't keep running, Carla said, pacing. We have to finish this.
How?
I asked. She stopped, eyes blazing. We go public. Share our story. If everyone's watching, they can't touch us. It was bold, maybe crazy, but it clicked. Okay, let's do it. Hours later, we sat in a news studio, cameras rolling. Carla took the lead, voice firm. I worked undercover to expose corruption. They came after my family, my friends. I'm done running. I jumped in, detailing Coachella, the chase, the cabin. Mark spoke last, cool and collected. The reporter's jaw dropped as the tale unfolded. The broadcast hit like a thunderclap. Social media erupted, support flooded in, and the pressure crushed the ring. Arrests piled up, the network unraveling. From a safe house, we watched the updates roll in. Carla leaned against me, drained but smiling. We did it. Yeah, I said, squeezing her hand. We really did. But a quiet unease lingered. What came next? Could life ever feel normal again? That night, we sat on the porch under a starry sky. Mark stayed inside, giving us room. Carla turned to me, her face soft. I'm sorry, Jane. For all of it. Enough with that, I said. You don't owe me apologies. I do, she pressed. You could have bailed, but you stuck with me. Your family, I said, shrugging. That's the deal. She hugged me, tight and fierce, and the burden I'd carried finally eased. We'd survived the storm, together. Then headlights cut through the dark, a car rolling up. My pulse spiked. Who's that? Mark stepped out, tense. Wait here. He approached the vehicle, then waved us over after a moment. It's fine.
FBI.
A woman in a suit stepped out. We've tracked your case. We're offering protection until the trials wrap up. Gratitude flooded me. Thank you. As we grabbed our things, Carla bumped my shoulder. Not quite done with the drama, huh? I laughed. At least now we've got pros on our side. She grinned, and for a heartbeat, it was just us, two friends, ready for the next chapter. But deep down I knew the real battle was only starting. The safe house was a nondescript cabin tucked away in the hills, miles from anywhere. FBI agents patrolled the perimeter, their presence a strange comfort after everything we'd been through. Inside, Carla, Mark, and I huddled around a rickety table, sipping instant coffee that tasted like regret. The trials were weeks away, and until then we were ghosts off the grid, out of reach. But the quiet didn't last. Late one night, I woke to a soft tapping on the window. My heart leapt into my throat. I crept to the glass and peeked out. A shadow flitted through the trees. I grabbed the lamp, ready to swing, when a voice hissed, "Jane, it's me." "Carla?" I cracked the window. "What the hell are you doing out there?" "Sure," she whispered, glancing over her shoulder. "I need to show you something. Alone." I hesitated. The agents had strict rules, no wandering. But Carla's eyes were desperate, pleading. I sighed, pulled on a jacket, and slipped outside. We trekked through the woods, the moon casting eerie shadows. "Where are we going?" I asked, my breath fogging in the chill. "Trust me," she said, her voice tight. We reached a clearing, and there it was, a small campfire, flickering weakly. A man sat beside it, his face obscured by a hood. My stomach clenched. "Carla, who is that?" She stepped forward. "It's okay. He's a friend." The man stood, lowering his hood. He was in his 50s, grizzled and weary.
Jane, right?
"I'm Tom. I used to work with Carla." I blinked, confused. "Work with her? You mean?" "Undercover," he said. "I was her handler." Carla turned to me, her expression raw. "Tom's the reason I got out alive all those years ago. He's got intel on the ring's last move." Tom nodded. "They're planning one final strike, to take you out before you testify. Tomorrow night." My blood ran cold. "How do you know?" "I've got a mole inside," he said. "They're desperate. If they succeed, the trials collapse." Carla's hands balled into fists. "We can't let that happen." "What's the plan?" I asked, dread pooling in my gut. Tom's eyes darkened. "We flip the script, set a trap, catch them in the act. The FBI can swoop in, and it's game over." It sounded insane, using ourselves as bait. But what choice did we have? "All right," I said. "Let's end this." The next day, we briefed the agents. They weren't thrilled, but they saw the logic. We'd stage a fake escape, luring the hitmen to a nearby abandoned warehouse. The FBI would lie in wait, ready to pounce. As dusk fell, we slipped out, making a show of sneaking past the patrols. My nerves screamed, but I kept my cool. We reached the warehouse, its rusted doors creaking ominously. Inside, it was a cavern of shadows and dust. We waited, the silence thick. Then headlights sliced through the dark, engines growling. They were here. Carla grabbed my hand. Stay close. The doors burst open, and 3 men stormed in, guns drawn. End of the road, one sneered. I raised my hands, playing the part. Please don't. Before I could finish, the lights snapped on, blindingly bright. FBI agents flooded the room, shouting orders. The hitmen froze, caught red-handed. But one bolted, diving behind crates. Gunfire erupted, and I hit the floor, Carla shielding me. Bullets pinged off metal, chaos raining. Then a sharp cry, a hitman crumpled, clutching his leg. It was over in seconds. The agents cuffed the men, dragging them out. Mark appeared, his face pale but relieved. You okay? I nodded, shaky but intact. Carla hugged me tight. We did it. The trials came and went, a blur of testimonies and headlines. The corruption ring unraveled, big names toppled, justice served. We watched from a distance, our part done. On the last day, we gathered at my porch, the same spot where it all began. The air was crisp, the sky a soft pink. Carla handed me a small box. Open it. Inside was a new locket, silver this time, with a photo of us at Coachella, laughing in our ridiculous outfits. For new memories, she said, her voice thick. I hugged her, tears pricking my eyes. No more secrets, okay? Promise, she said, squeezing back. Mark joined us, beers in hand. To survival, he toasted. We clinked bottles, the weight of the past lifting. Life wouldn't be the same, but maybe that was okay. We'd face the storm and come out stronger. As the sun dipped, Carla nudged me. Next year, maybe just a spa weekend? I laughed, the sound free and easy. Yeah, that sounds perfect. And for the first time in months, I believed it.